Here we are, back with our little bird. So you can see that most of his belly is sewn in. There's a little place here to stuff. And here's what he looks like, or she. I'm going to take a little bit of wool and kind of fluff it up if you need to. I think your wool's pretty fluffy. This one is a little more stuck together. I'm going to find the hole and I'm going to stuff that little bit of wool up into the bird's head. And then just keep doing that, little pieces. And kind of fluff it if you need to. And I'm going to kind of stuff this one into the bird's chest. Maybe some more up into the head a little bit. And this one, let's see, might need to do a smaller amount. Yep, we'll do just a little tiny bit right into the tip of the tail there. And if you have a pencil handy, you can go ahead and use that. I'm going to use my scissors, but these are really sharp, so if you use scissors, be careful not to poke through your work. All right, so now I'm going to take my needle and I'm starting with a new thread because I ran out of my old thread. So I'm going to remember to hide my knot on the inside. I'm going to tuck it right in there. And then I'm going to hold that gap together. And I'm going to keep sewing. Sew up the hole. Sometimes you might have to stop and stuff a little bit of stuffing in if it's sticking out. You can pin those two sides together if you need to, but I like to just hold it with my fingers because sometimes the pin gets in the way of sewing. It is a beautiful sunny day here today. Hopefully it's nice weather where you are. Once you have your hole sewn up, you'll need your wings. And you can do one of two things here. When we get to the end of this hole that we're sewing up, you can do 3 stitches in the same place and then hide your thread, the end of your thread on the inside, and clip it. That will hold your thread. Or what I like to do is something sort of tricky. I like to leave my thread attached, and I might still do 3 stitches in the same place just to secure it. In fact, let's do that. You can see I've been in the garden. My fingers are all covered with dirt. Just doesn't come off. And you've been digging in the garden. Okay, so now I've done my 3 stitches. I'm going to bury the needle inside and I'm going to come up where I want my wing to be. And that way I don't have to try and hide my knot. And put the wing on, and I'm going to do blanket stitch. Again, this is a little different because you're not sewing two edges together, you're sewing an edge to a continuous piece. So it might take a little practice, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're learning here. I said I've been doing a lot of gardening, and when I do gardening I find lots of snails when I'm pulling weeds. And as many of you know, I have lots of chickens. Well, 9 chickens. And so I take the snails to where my chickens are, and I call them. I say, "Here, chickens." And they know when I say that I have something yummy for them to eat. And so they come running, and I throw them the snails, which helps me because the snails, if I leave them in my garden, they eat all my plants, especially the new little ones. There's our wing. So I'm just going to take a quick pause from my story to show you how to attach the other wing. So I'm going to take my needle, and we're going to try to make it even and go through to the other side. And then I'll take my other wing, and I'm going to set it evenly on the other side where I want it to be. And I'm going to bring my needle through. And then I'm going to keep stitching blanket stitch. So my chickens come and get a snail snack, which makes their eggs extra tasty. And then the snails stop eating all my little plants. I've got peas coming up in my garden, and lettuce and spinach. I'm excited for my peas to start making little pea pods. They're not quite ready yet though. They're still tiny pea plants. All right, my friends, when we get to our last stitch, just go ahead and do your 3 stitches in the same place. And then after I do my 3 stitches, I usually like to run right back down through the middle of them. So across and through the middle. And then, I crumpled his wing. There we go. And then I like to hide my end inside somewhere. And I'm going to pull it just a little bit and trim it. Okay. And there you have a little spring chicken. Beep, 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 beep. All right, my friends. That's your little chicken. Goodbye.